they say Chiti.
On today's episode on Albinism Advocates, we are accompanied by none other than Mr. John Chiti. John Chiti is a remarkable musician, activist, and philanthropist. From a young age, he faced the harsh realities of stigma and discrimination because of his condition, yet he refused to let them define him. Music became his sanctuary, a way to express himself and reach others. His story shows resilience in the face of challenges and the power of art to inspire change. In 2008, John founded the Albinism Foundation of Zambia, dedicating his life to supporting people with albinism and challenging the myths and misconceptions that surround the condition. His journey has inspired many, and his story even became the basis for the 2023 Netflix film, Can You See Us? This film brought global attention to his life and advocacy work. Through his music, advocacy, and unwavering courage, John Chiti continues to shine a light on albinism, showing the world that difference is not a limitation, but a strength. His life is a testament to determination, hope, and the power of one voice to create awareness and change perceptions. That's why, in today's episode, he will explain in his own words how this journey has been. Stay tuned.
Beyond the individual stories, daily interactions shape how people with albinism navigate through society. Let's listen from their stories.
What has been your experience growing up with albinism?
My experience was rough. Growing up with albinism, I was the only one in my family. My parents, siblings, and other relatives don't have albinism. So it was a strange thing to be born white in a black family. So I went through discrimination, I went through rejection, I went through bullying at school. People didn't understand me. So it was quite rough, but simply because people didn't understand this condition.
Okay. How do you define yourself beyond your condition?
Well, for me, beyond albinism, I'm a person. I look at myself as a normal person. And I even forget that I have albinism. It doesn't occur to me until maybe you talk about it or you tell me. But otherwise, it's something that I've put aside to me. It doesn't matter, and I've learned to live my life regardless of my condition.
Okay, that's good to hear. Does it in any way affect your daily routine, your day-to-day life?
Not really. It doesn't affect. Let me say it. Because I've learned to live with it, it doesn't affect. But it affects one, for example, my skin. I cannot spend much time in the sun because I lack melanin. So which means if I spend too much time in the sun, my skin gets bent and it can also cause cancer. So that is how it affects. So I have to mind how I move. I have to wear hats. I have to wear long sleeve clothes. I have to wear sunscreen. So I need to live that type of life. But also my eyes as well, because my eyes don't have melanin. I am short-sighted. So in school, I cannot read on the board. I cannot read books that have small text. So I have to adapt. I have to use a large print. And if you are waving at me, you're at a distance, I may not recognize you. I may think, but don't see because he's not responding. But simply because of poor sight. So, but for me, I have learned to live with the condition such that now it's not a problem. I understand my limitation with my sight, with my skin, and life goes on.
I understand. That's good to hear. Do people react in any way when they first interact with you?
Yes, they say, John Chiti!
That's a good reaction. That's a very good reaction.
That's what they say. And when they say another one, yeah, we saw your friend, we saw your sister, John Chiti! Oh, yes.
That's good. Good. Do you feel safe in your community when you're moving around, in public places, ShopRite, when you're doing your groceries, when you come for work? Do you feel safe?
For me, I am safe, and it's because I'm aware that people with albinism are hunted and killed, so I know. So even if I'm safe, there is a part of me that is always conscious about my security, where I'm going, whether I'm going to perform, where I'm doing my shoppings. There is just that consciousness to say people with albinism are hunted for their body parts. So I am safe because I've taken all the measures. I take measures, personal measures, security. I have the information. I know what happens, so I cannot be caught unaware. But I am safe and I live normally, just like everybody else.
That's very good to hear. Have any of your members, mom, dad, have tried to actively do something about the discrimination that happens to people living with albinism?
Yes, my family, sometimes my parents would fight with another one because children are bullying. And even me, my mom used to tell me, so I would beat people whenever they call me names. And also I've got people who are good Samaritan. You see a child, you see someone doing things, they say, no, don't do that. This is a person like you. So we have good Samaritans and good people who are raising awareness. And also like you, what you are doing now, this is a good gesture.
Yes.
That you are raising more awareness on albinism. So we just need more people to join us, more voices to join us so that the voice becomes louder, so that the public gets to know what albinism is and what it is not.
Speaking of awareness, do you think there is enough awareness and advocacy that happens in Lusaka and Zambia at large about albinism?
Yes, there is awareness and it's good. We have the media raising awareness, we have organizations raising awareness, people. But where we are lacking is the rural areas that they still need a lot of awareness, because there the media is limited, information is limited, so we have a lot of discrimination, a lot of attacks, a lot of bullying that happen in rural areas. But in town, yes, there's so much awareness and we thank everyone who is playing their part, but we need to extend this awareness to the rural areas. That is where we have a challenge right now.
Okay, I understand. Have you ever heard of any government laws that actually protect albinism, or you feel there's nothing that the government has done specifically to protect people living with albinism?
The laws that are there are general laws. They are not tailored to people with albinism. For example, if a person with albinism is attacked and killed,
yes,
that case is a murder case, and it will be treated as an ordinary murder case. There is no distinction to say this person was killed because he has albinism. And if you go to the police, for example, ask them, how many cases do you have for people with albinism? You won't find those cases, because even in their records, they record them as ordinary cases. So because there is no distinction and there is no laws that specifically deal with albinism, the cases are thrown in the pool with every other cases.
okay.
So what we advocate for is that there must be some positive discrimination here. There must be some distinction to put these cases to say, John was killed because he has albinism. He was killed for his body part, so that the judge will put more effort and treat that case like an urgent case. Because when you are just thrown out to be treated like an ordinary case, there are so many murder cases that happen. So that is what we want. So there is no specific laws that deal with albinism, but the general laws are there. If you murder someone, if you injure someone, all those are crimes and you can be committed, prosecuted for such.
So you would prefer the specifically protecting albinism and such?
Yes, this is what other countries are doing. There is what we are calling the National Action Plan on Albinism.
Yes.
There is a disability protocol. So these other countries, this is what they are doing. They are creating specific laws for people who are vulnerable, because it's like a race. We cannot run on an equal basis.
Yes.
So it's unfair to be put together to be compared to someone who is able. So we need to recognize that this is a vulnerable group, they need help, and we need to put in some things that can help them. I'll give you an example here at the teaching service. When we are employing teachers, we give 10% to people with disabilities, deliberately.
Yes.
10%, whatever number. So 10% is given for people with disabilities. Why? It's because if we allow them to just compete with everybody else, obviously they'll be left out. Because the competition is not fair for them. But when you give a specific room for them to say this 10% will give it to people with disabilities, at least you find that in every recruitment, when government is recruiting, you find that teachers with disabilities are also involved.
As we live, we hope, despite many challenges, many continue to look towards the future, building families, communities, and strength.
Would you feel safe having a family in your current community?
Oh, I already have a family, and they are safe.
Very safe?
Yes. but I think my safety comes in because this question won't be answered. If you ask an ordinary person, the answer will be different. So for me, my family is safe. One, because of my status. Two, because of my provision. I mean, I'll provide and make sure that they are safe.
Yes.
So because of those capacities and opportunities, I am safe, my family is safe. But if you go down to a common person who is not John Chiti, who is not in this state,
yes,
and they don't have the financial capacity, you find that they're very vulnerable and they are not safe.
Speaking of the common person, the ordinary people out there living with albinism, what advice would you give to them?
Well, the first one is that their lives are in danger because they are hunted and killed for their body parts, so they must be aware, take precautions, personal security. And the other advice is that they should live positively because, I mean, John Chiti is there to give you as an example. So if John Chiti can do it, we can also do it. It was harder for me because there was no John Chiti to look up to, but for them, they can say, John Chiti, So if I can do it, I'm even on TV, then you, whatever your field is, whether it's education, whether you have a talent like me, or whatever, you should not let your condition to bring you down.
And lastly, I would like to ask you, what would you recommend the government to do in order to protect people with albinism more?
Well, I think the government should adopt the laws that specifically target people with albinism. Like I said, there are two important documents right now which most countries are adopting: the National Action Plan on Albinism and the Africa Disability Protocol. So these are documents that from the UN, it has got a lot of recommendations and lessons learned, because even as countries we share problems and we share what is working in other countries.
Yes.
People with albinism in Tanzania, people with albinism in Malawi, how are they faring? In this area, what have they done? What has the government in Tanzania done? So, a lot of killings of people with albinism.
Yes.
And now, the situation has stabilized. So we want to learn from them. What did they do to bring down the killings? What measures did they take? What laws did they bring in place? So that's why there are these documents that we can learn from each other and also implement them in our country, so that we don't have to wait for a time when people with albinism in Zambia are killed. That's when now we start waking up and putting in places. We can simply learn from other countries what they have done, and then you'll be able to prevent a lot of crimes and help our people with albinism in Zambia to contribute positively to national development.
Thank you very much. That concludes our interview, Mr. John Chiti. It was lovely having you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Every voice matters. Every story told is a step towards understanding, inclusion, and change.
This has been an awareness campaign on the eradication of discrimination against people with albinism. Goodbye for now. See you in the next video.